Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Guyana Institute of Historical Research series on emancipation. This year marks 183 years since the African Guianese received their full freedom. On the 1st of August, 1838, they celebrated before Parliament buildings. And so we are delighted to present to you this afternoon the first of our three series on the quest for emancipation. In this presentation, I shall look at the role of women in the fight for freedom. First, African Guianese enslaved were brought to Guyana in 1626. And from 1626 to 1838, they all fought alongside their menfolk for freedom. How did they resist and revolt against this inhumane system to mankind? First, we look at on the boat. It was not unusual for women to become impregnated by the sailors on the boat. And in response to this heinous act, quite a number of them either committed suicide by jumping overboard or by strangling their newborns. On arrival in the colony of Guyana, one found that many of the African women who had run away from the plantations did so because of the support of their male counterparts. So running away was one form of resistance. There were others who resisted by attempting to destroy the marital unions of their white masters and mistresses. This led to many white mistresses sending their female slaves to Suriname. Then there was, of course, those female slaves who were cooks, who would poison their masters and mistresses. And it was not unusual for an entire family to be poisoned before they discovered that the slave cook was the one who had committed the act. Female slaves also resisted slavery in their attitude to the masters and mistresses who refused to allow them to attend church services. In the diary of the Reverend John Smith, he records the story of Hannah, who told how she was captured as a little girl and brought to Guyana. And she chose to become a Christian. But every Sunday, her master would present some challenge in her way to prevent her and would beat her. But she said that in spite of the pain and suffering she was going through, she would continue to attend the church services because of the liberating effect of the gospel. Female slaves were known to sell their provisions, which they had cultivated in their farms, on Sundays at the Sunday market. And in so doing, some of them were able to buy their freedom before 1838. By 1834, when slavery was abolished, and when we say slavery was abolished, what we mean is the end of the buying and selling of slaves. There were female slaves who were able to purchase their freedom. But of course, since they were not emancipated, they did not have the same kind of treatment as the white folks. However, in 1838, when full freedom came, then one found that there were among the women female ex-slaves who had been able to save enough money to purchase the first village, African Guianese village in Guyana, Victoria, in 1839. Hence, enslavement came to an end. And what developed was the cooperative movement. Of course, this was later consolidated in 1970 when Guyana became a cooperative republic. Through the history of slavery in Guyana and the enslavement of Africans, one would notice that African Guyanese women worked extremely hard to take care of themselves and their children. They were beaten, they were raped, they were put on the racks, and they were most of all tried to be brought down. But in spite of the kind of inhumane treatment that the enslaved African Guianese woman was exposed to, she continued to educate her children, she continued to nurse her children, and African Guianese midwives ensured that the birth of the African boys and girls, the babies, would become the founders of modern Guyana. This is the end of the first in a series on the quest for freedom and emancipation 183 years later. I am your presenter, Hazel Wilford, the Registrar of the Guyana Institute of Historical Research. Thank you for listening.